Often ask me, what's the one trait that I need to have in order to be really, really successful? Well, I think there's a bunch of different traits that you need to have in order to be successful, but I think that there's one trait that you need to have to begin with. You see, all the other ones you can develop along the way, but in order for you to be successful, you need to start off with the trait of being consistent. I talk about this all the time. You have to be consistent and you have to be persistent. But most importantly, you have to be consistent. You have to be the type of person like the Energizer Bunny. You got to keep going and going and going and going and going and not give up. Here's the thing, no matter how good your plan is, no matter how much money you have, no matter if everything else seems like it's perfect, if you are not the type of person that's consistent, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. This week in my power and a half hour call, I talk about Ray Kroc. And one thing about Ray Kroc was that man was consistent. That man stayed on the road, and I look at these people that are so very, very, very successful. And a lot of people, we tend to just look at them and come up with all sorts of reasons and excuses as to why they become as successful as they have, really to justify why they're successful and why we're not. But, the one thing that I have to give the majority of people that I study, and I don't really know too many other people that study success at the level that I do. And I'm telling you, every single one of those people were consistent. Most of them weren't necessarily the smartest people out there. A lot of times we want to think that these people that are rich, that are super millionaires and billionaires and whatnot, that they just have all these smarts. And, like I said, I've watched tons and tons of interviews. I've read a lot of their books, and they're not necessarily smarter than anybody else that's out there. They definitely don't have as much money as we think they do when they're just getting started. A lot of people start their business with very, very little money. The ones that did even have a little bit of money, it wasn't necessarily their money. They just were able to, I guess, get people to loan them money. But the one trait that they all started with, right, was they were all consistent. They all made up in their mind that they had an idea that they believed so much in that they weren't going to give up. I look at someone like I said, Ray Kroc. I talked about him in my power and a half hour call this week. Ray Kroc was a milkshake mixer salesman for 17 years. This guy was on the road selling milkshake mixers to companies for 17 years, getting no after no after no after no after no. And here's the thing, right? And a lot of times we feel that we may be going down in the wrong direction, or there's a bunch of different things that goes through our mind as we're being rejected, as we're trying to do something, and feels like sometimes we're not making as much progress as we want to make. But here's the thing, if Ray Kroc wasn't selling milkshake machines, he did that for 17 years, right? Going from town to town to town selling these milkshake machines. If he never ever did that, then he would have never ever found out about the McDonald's brothers. If he would have never, so not only did he come across these guys that ended up ordering, it's hard for him to even sell one milkshake mixer to one store, right? He was able to, these guys bought six of them, actually bought eight of them from him. So not only did he see that, right, he was like, wow, if these guys are buying eight when no one else wants to buy one, I want to see what they have going on. So this guy drove cross country, right? He drove all the way from Illinois all the way to California to see what it was that these guys had going on. So he took, not only was he consistent, he took action because, like I said, he was selling those milkshake mixers for 17 years. And, I just recently watched his movie. If you get a chance, you can watch a movie called Founder that tells that whole McDonald's story and whatnot. And one of the things that really stood out to me was before he had an opportunity to meet the milkshake, before he had an opportunity to meet the McDonald brother, while he was on the road selling these milkshake mixers, he used to listen to personal development, not MP3s, right? It was in 2017. They had record players. So he had motivational messages similar to the ones that I do every single week and tons of other people do. And he was listening to them on a record player in his hotel room every evening and every morning, right? To motivate him, to give him the drive and energy to keep doing what he did, obviously, for 17 years, right? But once he did find out about these McDonald brothers, they ordered all these milkshake mixes from him. He drove down there and he was able to see opportunity. Here's the thing, if he would have quit, right? Let's say even a few months, let's say he sold milkshake mixers for 16 years and 6 months and decided to quit, he would have never ever had the opportunity to meet the McDonald brothers and never ever had an opportunity to buy into the McDonald's franchise and eventually take it over. And his life would have been completely different. When Ray Kroc died, he was worth over $500 million. He'd owned the San Diego Padres, and Ray Kroc wasn't necessarily the smartest guy in the world, because he had been a milkshake mixer for 17 milkshake mixer salesman for 17 years. He didn't buy into McDonald's. He didn't even find out about McDonald's until he was 52 years old. But here's the thing. When that opportunity came to him, he was able to seize that opportunity. So not only was he able to see opportunity, he was able to seize the opportunity. And that is so very important, because how many of us come across phenomenal opportunities every single day, right? And we don't take advantage of them, right? Many of us don't even see those opportunities because we're just not consistent enough. Here's the thing. Because he was consistent and was doing his job in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, he was able to finally, at the age of 52, come across that golden opportunity. And then he was able to realize that it was a golden opportunity, take advantage of it, and completely change his life and change the rest of our lives. Because, I mean, what would this world be without McDonald's? Even though I don't eat McDonald's anymore, I don't think it's that great for you or whatever. But, I mean, we all grew up eating McDonald's every single day. So, and not only McDonald's, but he completely revolutionized the fast food industry, because at the time there were no other companies that was set up and had this sort of system that McDonald's had. So Ray Kroc ended up becoming one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time at the age of 52, just because he was consistent. So one of the things that I want to challenge every single one of you watching this video is develop the habit of consistency. I wasn't always super consistent, or definitely at the level of consistency that I am right now. But I realized maybe around 8-9 years ago that I needed to become more and more consistent if I wanted to stay and become more and more successful. So I started training myself on doing things, just doing certain things every single day, or on whatever time basis that I needed to do them on, to develop that consistency muscle. I believe that consistency is a muscle in our minds, and we can develop that. So maybe it's, you're going to make up your mind that you're going to drink water every day. It doesn't have to be anything big, but just get in the habit of doing something on a regular consistent basis. So maybe if you don't drink any water right now, maybe you're going to drink 32 ounces of water every single day. And you're going to make up your mind to do that every single day. Maybe you're going to meditate. I mean, you come up with whatever it is that you feel that you need to do. Do something that you know that you can tackle. And once you do that and you learn to develop that skill there, then you can move on to doing other things and whatnot, right? But at least start off with one thing. Make up in your mind that you're going to be consistent. You're going to do that every single day. And after about a month or so, and you see that you're really consistent with that, then move on to something else. Add something else on. If you're a person that goes to church, maybe you'll do, I'm going to go to church every single Sunday. I mean, whatever it is that you do, it doesn't really matter to me what it is that you do. Make sure it's something that you enjoy doing, that you want to do, or that you know that you need to do. But work on just becoming very consistent at doing that one thing over and over and over and over again. What you're doing is you're wiring it into your brain. And then it becomes easier and easier and easier. And then you don't even have to think about doing it. You just do it automatically. My videos that I put on Instagram and Facebook every single day, I've done those for almost 600 days in a row, never missing one day. Right? I've wired myself to where anything that I take on, that I decide that I want to do, I can do it with ease. I just do it automatically. Water, I drink 100 ounces of water every single day, every day, every day, every day without fail. There's about 10 or 15 things that I just do every single day, and they become habit. And maybe 5 years ago, there's no way that I would have ever even thought about doing any one of these things for more than a day or 2 days. But I've trained myself to be consistent in every endeavor that I take on. I may not take on every single thing that I want to do, but the things that I do take on, I am very, very, very consistent with it. And I can guarantee you this: if you can learn the habit of consistency, you will become so much more successful. So work on that. Pick one thing that you're gonna work on, whether it's drinking a glass of water, maybe whatever it is. If you're a writer, maybe it's writing one page every single day. Whatever it is that you decide to do, pick up that habit, start doing it every single day, every single day, every single day. And then as you get good at that, as you written that into your brain, you wire that into your brain, then add on something else, kind of like a juggler. Juggler starts with one ball, then you add on another one, and another one, and another one. And before you know it, this juggler is juggling 15 balls at one time. And you can do the same thing as well. All right? Thank you much, and until next week.